Hello and welcome to this channel called Our Reviews Must Die, and this is actually my first video ever, well, first review ever. I actually have another channel called All Games Must Die, obviously a gaming channel, which you should definitely check out. I have quite a bit of more videos on there. But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to make a channel where I reviewed things like TV shows, movies, games, different types of announcements, and just give my personal opinions on types of, whatever the hell I can think of. But anyway, so as far as my first review, I'm going to be reviewing the Walking Dead Season 5 finale, Season 5, Episode 16, called Conquer. And, I did a bit of research, so I know what the hell I'm talking about, or at least I sound like it, before I start reviewing this episode. And generally it seems like the finale was well received, as well as the season as a whole, which doesn't really surprise me because I've actually thought it was easily my favorite season so far. The only other season for me that can even come close to matching the quality of this one is season 3. Though it sucks how that one just ended before the governor actually went full-on war mode onto the prison, and they dragged that out into halfway through season 4, but that's another story. But at least the whole tank battle and everything actually happened. But anyway, like I said, that's another story. As far as this, yeah, I mean the first half of season 5 was cool. I really liked how the Terminus people, which as far as the comics, which I won't talk about the comics really as far as anything that's beyond the episodes that have come out, because I want to avoid spoilers for anybody listening, but I am caught up with the comics. I know what goes on in them and everything like that, but like I said, I'll avoid that. But yeah, as far as the Terminus people, I thought it was really cool how they just did away with them so quickly, which made sense. And yeah, it was brutal and violent. I loved every second of it. Rick chopping him up with his machete and everything. It was great. They need to do that more often. But anyway, and I didn't hate the hospital stuff like most people did. I thought that was all right. And of course, the Abraham stuff was great, his backstory. But anyway, so that finished off the first half of season 5, and now we get to the second half of season 5, which I thought has just been incredible. Getting to the Alexandria safe zone has just been amazing. Actually, my favorite episode ever of the series was when they first arrived in Alexandria. I think the episode was called Forget. Just that whole idea of them trying to get through everything that they've been through, trying to overcome it, trying to sort of overcome their previous trauma and everything that experienced out there in the world, where they were even like about to become somebody's lunch basically, and just trying to adjust to not being on edge every living moment of life, in this seemingly quiet community. I thought Rick was, the actor Andrew Lincoln, I thought he was incredible in that episode, with just the way they showed his paranoia and the way every little sound, every little thing, I don't know, I almost felt like encased, in a prison. He wasn't sure who or what to trust. I just thought all of that was incredible, the way they portrayed that, especially through Rick. Trying to overcome that trauma that they'd experienced, starving so badly that they had to eat dogs and just everything like that. Just an incredible episode, definitely my favorite in the series so far. And yeah, and the reason I'm talking about all this is because all of this builds up to the way I felt about the season finale, which I'm about to get to. But yeah, and so that was my favorite moment, and I should mention also the moment when before they get to Alexandria, when they were all pushing up against the barn doors, which I thought was incredibly symbolic and It's a really powerful scene, especially since the first three people that got up were the three people that are basically contemplating suicide, like that same episode, which was Sasha and Maggie, and who was the other person? Daryl, which I don't know if Daryl was contemplating suicide, but he was definitely at the lowest point I think he'd ever been, besides when Merle died. But anyway, so yeah, a lot of good stuff, and then the way, I guess, their choice to live was rewarded, I don't know, by a higher power, I suppose is what the show tried to show. You know, when they revealed that the storm had destroyed all the walkers, just really cool stuff. And that's pretty much why I watch Walking Dead, for those moments of greatness, which this season has had tons of, because before this season, I basically thought the show was sort of a hit and miss. Like I said, with the exception of season 3, except for the season 3 finale. I thought pretty much the show was hit and miss, but season 5, I can finally say, without a doubt, that I actually consider the show a good show. But anyway, and yeah, as far as Alexandria, I've known about it, you know, for years. I've been waiting for them to get to Alexandria forever, so just seeing them get to Alexandria so soon, you know, into the second half of season 5, I think about 3 or 4 episodes in, I just thought that was amazing, and I was incredibly happy about that. But anyway, so yeah, and one last thing I want to talk about before I talk about season finale. My favorite scene ever so far in Walking Dead is the scene with Rick. I think it was a second episode in Alexandria, episode 5, I believe, where the episode ends with Rick putting his hand on one of the walls in Alexandria, and on the other side you can see the walker, you know, right on the other side of the wall. And they're in the last minute of the episode, they're playing Spicks and Specks by the Bee Gees. I just thought it was an incredible moment, and definitely my favorite scene ever of The Walking Dead so far. Just the lyrics of that song and just all the different layers. That scene had so many different layers of meaning, from, you know, despair as far as everything they'd lost, to hope as far as being in Alexandria, to foreshadowing in a way, you know, as far as dangers that could, you know, be in their future, which obviously they'll face more dangers. But yeah, just so many different layers of meaning in that scene, and like I said, the lyrics were just perfectly suited for it. So yeah, that's been my favorite scene so far. But yeah, like I said, so everything had been building up to this season finale, you know, where everything was clearly shifting over to Rick and his group taking over Alexandria, you know, from the previous Alexandrians, whatever you want to call them, from Deanna and her posse. But yeah, so everything had obviously been shifting towards that, so it was no surprise to me that the season finale pretty much dealt with that heavily, as far as, like, I guess the torch being passed, ownership being passed, whatever you want to call it. Because yeah, I mean, like Rick said, they'd pretty much been incredibly lucky up to this point. That's really all they had been, and obviously their big ass walls, you know, and the fact that they didn't really have to go out that much because they were pretty self-sufficient, because of the way that neighborhood was built. But yeah, so everything needed a, you know, transfer over to Rick's group, because otherwise, you know, they were this incredible haven, you know, was just going to end up being taken by some probably evil pieces of garbage out there or something, or just overrun by walkers, and just become another ghost town, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I'm the type of person that completely and totally agrees with Rick. You know, I don't believe this bullshit about, oh, he's losing his humanity because he kills this person or that. You know, like, for example, obviously one of the biggest moments of season 5, episode 16, you know, finale, was him shooting Pete and him wanting to get rid of Pete, even before this finale. And yeah, I mean, you should have killed him, you know, when he was choking his ass on the ground. I would have killed him then. And, you know, it has nothing to do with losing your humanity or this and that, whatever the fuck, you know, you can call it whatever you want. But, you know, the fact of the matter is, they live in a different world now. And, you know, you have to do what you have to do to survive. And I'm not saying to become the governor or anything like that. I'm not saying to become like, the Terminus people, the hunters, and become a cannibal. I'm not saying that. I mean, you should keep your humanity, but at the same time, understand that sometimes you're going to have to make hard decisions in order for the actual good people that are still left alive in this world to survive. And that's just how it's going to have to be, because there's no more police force, there's no government, there's no nothing. So yeah, I mean, in some situations it is going to be kill or be killed, and that's a reality that seems like many characters, or at least some, or maybe many, many characters in The Walking Dead seem to have trouble understanding that, certain situations come down to kill or be killed, and that's just how it is in this world they live. That's just how it is. I mean, if there was a police force or a government, things would be different, but there's not, so people have to take the law into their own hands. And that doesn't mean, killing someone like Pete, that's just obviously going to be a complete danger and threat to what they're trying to build, their civilization that they're trying to bring up out of nothing. That doesn't mean that you're the governor just because you kill someone like that. All right, someone that's been given tons of chances, someone that's as dangerous as him, should be killed. There's just no, he's not going to change. There's no hope. There's no prison to put him in. I mean, unless they build one, I guess. So yeah, it's death. I mean, that's about the only option. I mean, you can't. What are you gonna do? Take him out of nowhere, middle of nowhere? Leave him somewhere, like Aaron said he'd done with people before? I mean, that's dangerous. You could get yourself killed out there, in the wilderness, and they could find their way back and kill everyone you love and take everything you've built. That's fucking stupid, So yeah, I mean, I'm 100%. I'm totally behind Rick. I completely and totally agree with everything he's done. At least this second half of season 5. Before, that's a totally different story about how I felt about some of his decisions. Some I agreed with, some I didn't. But as far as this second half of season 5 Rick, yeah, I mean, I think he's the best Rick that's ever existed. But yeah, which leads me to another problem. Like I said, as far as the season finale, Conquer, I guess I come out and say it. I mean, I loved the second half of season 5. For me, it's the best half of a season in Walking Dead ever. But for me, it was almost like the finale was too hyped up for me. So, it inevitably was going to more than likely let me down. And me knowing what happens in the comics and everything like that, I think I just got my hopes up a little too much, basically. And it wasn't just that, but also I think the episode could have done some things better and not spent so much time on things that they didn't really need to, that had already been established. So yeah, I mean, as far as the season finale, I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good, but I didn't think it was like amazing or spectacular. I actually thought that there was tons of potential, loads and loads of potential going into it, because like I said, the half of the season had been so good in Alexandria, just incredible. But then I sort of just thought it sort of just ended without really any surprises, Like I said, I could see from day one that everything was going to be about everything being passed on to Rick's group, as far as ownership of Alexandria. Even if you hadn't read the comics, you could see that coming, I'm sure. And everything else that happened in the episode, nothing really happened. And especially the creators of the show that announced it was going to be a 90-minute episode. That's another thing that really hyped it up for me, that ended up just disappointing me, because I guess they meant with commercial breaks, because I thought it was going to be like an actual 90 minutes of Walking Dead, but I mean, if you take out commercials, it only amounts to about an hour and 5 minutes. So yeah, like I said, it's about an hour and 5 minutes without commercials. So, I mean, obviously that's not, 90 minutes. So I was let down by that as well. I expected a longer episode, and I expected a lot more to happen in the season finale. I mean, I had hoped that there would be a big, threat to Alexandria, and I guess there was in the form of like a few walkers, getting in, but I expected something much more, like, maybe these new bad guys that have been set up. What are they called? The wolves, whatever the hell they're called. Maybe like a pack of them, which I guess is fitting to call them a pack of them. Maybe like, I don't know, 5, 10 of those guys somehow sneaking in or something to Alexandria, providing a real threat, not just 3 or 4 walkers. Which, yeah, I mean, that's incredibly dangerous, and the walkers could have sent everything to hell. But 5 to 10 humans with evil intentions, that would have been way worse. So I guess I expected this big threat to Alexandria, and and this big bloodbath. I don't know. I mean, the mid-season finale just sort of did the same thing too, which was sort of lame. They went into the hospital. It seemed like it was going to be a big shoot. I really thought it was going to be like a massacre, and I thought Rick and his group were just going to like obliterate everybody in the hospital. But then it just sort of ended, and they just walked out with Beth, and I was just like, okay, that sort of just ended with a whisper instead of a bang, and I was just like, all right. But I'd hoped they were saving everything for the season finale, but season finale sort of ended the same way. It seemed like everything was building up, towards something bigger, and it's just sort of just deflated, I thought. I mean, yeah, like I said, you could argue that, Rick shooting Pete and the walkers coming in, that was sufficient, but I guess for me, I just expected more. Like I said, I think I just set my hopes too high, but even so, I still thought the episode could have done some work, because like I said, all right, let's go to the beginning. All right, Morgan. Okay, so that was obviously a big part of the season finale, which one thing I haven't talked about, which everyone has talked about online and everything, and yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, Morgan is one of my favorite characters ever in The Walking Dead as well. I think he's an amazing actor. Just incredible character, and he came back as like a fucking ninja, so it's good and bad, because it's good because he's such a cool dude, and his episode Clear was one of the best episodes ever, The Walking Dead, as well as his episode that he came out in originally when Rick met him as basically the first survivor that he came across in season 1. So yeah, I mean, so he's an incredible actor and everything, and I'm glad that apparently he's healed himself, because in Clear he was completely just out of his mind and totally gone and in an incredibly dark place. So I'm happy for him. I've read some comments online where people have said that he resembles Hope, and I think he does, because he was completely gone, totally gone in a complete hellish world. Yet now we see him here smiling and, walking around peacefully and giving mercy to these fucking bastards that were going to basically kill him and take all his stuff. Which, like I said, that's why I say it's good and bad. Morgan's an amazing guy. I'm so happy that he's back. It's so cool that he's a ninja and everything. But the whole mercy thing, that, like I said, that's a problem with me. I'm the type of guy that, if I was in this post-apocalyptic world, like I said, I'm not saying to become Shane. I'm not saying to become the governor. I'm not saying to become the Terminites, or whatever the fuck people call them, the hunters. I'm not saying that. That's too extreme. But, the way Rick is now, that's the way I would be. Somebody needs to get killed, they're going to get killed, and that's it. Because, it's either the good people will live or the bad people will live. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather have good people live. So you have to wipe out the bad ones, and that's just a fact of life in this life that they live. So that's what I'm saying. Morgan, it's good and bad, his changes, because he's a ninja now, which is incredible. I guess he went out to train with, I don't know, the League of Assassins or something. But this mercy killing thing, like, I mean, look, it's already caused a problem. He put the 2 guys in a car in the beginning. He should have fucking killed them. They ended up almost killing, Daryl and Aaron. Well, I guess it was their trap that almost killed them, but still, they killed the guy with the red poncho, random survivor guy. So yeah, and obviously they're gonna cause more fucking, shit to them later. And one thing that I wasn't sure of is in the post-credit scene, they show a card that says something like "wolves are near" or something like that, or "wolves are far." I forget what it was. I don't know. I'll check right now in a minute. But yeah, wolves are wolves. I don't know. I forget what the hell they're called. But like I said, I'll check in a second. But my point is, I was wondering why did that scene? Why were they trying to make that seem significant? And I read online that apparently, maybe some of you people don't remember this. I sure as hell didn't. But in the first episode of this second half of the season, when they go back to Noah's neighborhood, poor Noah, he got ripped in half. But anyway, when they go back to Noah's neighborhood, on the wall, it's the same message about the wolves, or wolves, whatever. So apparently, these two bastards, are the ones that destroyed his neighborhood and killed his family. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. People like this need to be killed, or else they're just going to keep killing good people. One bad person will kill countless good ones. That makes no sense. Just kill that one bad one, and maybe 100 good people will be spared. That's just how it is. It's just cold hard facts. But anyway, and as far as the whole humanity thing is concerned, that shows that you have humanity because you're making a tough decision for the sake of your fellow good human beings. How I don't understand this whole thing about that meaning you lose your humanity. I don't think so. You're just doing what needs to be done. Yeah, if you become like the governor, then you're losing your humanity, but I'm not talking about that. But anyway, or the governor in name only, as they call him. Anyway, so like I said, he left the guys alive, which was stupid. And then let's see what happens here. Okay, then the whole thing, this really pissed me off, and I'm just skipping through the episode here to remember the main points of it. The whole thing with Michonne punching Rick, yeah, that was fucking stupid. I was really pissed off about that because I really liked the speech there when he was pointing the gun at all those idiots, and then she just like stopped it and the episode just ended. I was like, what the fuck was that? Anyway, that was pretty fucking stupid, but at least in the next episode she sort of made up for it, and she said she did it for him, not for them. I guess she wanted to stop him from looking like a maniac, I guess, in front of them, I suppose, and she probably didn't know what the hell was going on either, because she just showed up. But anyway, and then as far as the whole thing with Sasha, I felt really bad for her and everything, but I've sort of thought at this point, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to choose life or death? Please make up your mind already. But I did like the scene where she laid down in the graves with the walkers. I thought that was really artistic, and I'm happy for her that it seems that by the end of the episode, that maybe she won't be so suicidal anymore. I mean, I feel really bad for her. I mean, one of my favorite characters ever actually in Walking Dead was Bob. I thought he was a really cool guy, and Tyrese as well, and both of them died basically back to back, so I totally understand. I was just wondering, are they going to go somewhere with this character or what? But it seems like they finally did. And as far as Aaron and Daryl, I have to say I love their team up. I think it's an incredible team up. Aaron is a really cool character. And I like the whole idea of both of them sort of being outsiders and, like Aaron said to Daryl, being different from what's considered normal, in their own unique ways. So therefore, because of that, they're able to understand each other much better than others do. So I thought that was really cool. When Aaron said that, and their team up makes a lot of sense. And then of course Morgan saved them, which was interesting. And then another big scene was Abraham, I guess, forgiving Eugene, which I guess sort of makes sense. I mean, I don't think Abraham's a bad man, and in a way I think he understands that Eugene, in a way, even though it was through a lie, gave him a reason to live. But as much I like Eugene a lot, I mean, he's a funny guy, but I don't know if I can forgive him, being the cause of so many people's deaths, because they talked about the previous groups that they had, and, he was the cause of so many people's deaths, but at the same time, because of him, pushing forward and, getting, this idea about Washington, D.C. in their head, he's brought them here to Alexandria, and he saves, in a way you could say he saved a lot of people's lives. So, I don't know, by Eugene, I don't know, I guess I sort of just feel sorry for him because he was a coward, but at least now he's making up for it, since he actually saved, I think her name is Tasha. Yeah, some of these names just sort of run together. But anyway, yeah, so the main thing about the episode was Deanna was going to have this big sort of meeting, where they were all going to decide whether or not they would, I guess, what they were going to do about Rick, whether they were going to kick him out of Alexandria or what. And, all of Rick's posse basically back him up and, let them know that Rick's a good man. And then, of course, the walkers, like I said, break in, Rick stops them, shows up at the meeting, basically letting them know that they're fucking idiots. And that's exactly what he's been talking about all along, that, they're just over here thinking they're still in the world of yesterday when they don't realize they're in the world of today, and they're gonna fucking get eaten or killed before they realize it, and they need someone like Rick to smarten them up, basically. So yeah, and then at the end, there was a good scene, I think, where Gabriel, Sasha, and Maggie, are basically praying, three people whose faith in life, humanity, religion, whatever, I guess has been tested, and I guess at the end they sort of decide to reconcile together and seek redemption together. But yeah, that's it. And this leads to, two of my main problems with the episode, which was Gabriel and Nicholas. Alright, Gabriel has really pissed me off lately because he's the idiot, which I should mention, that left the gate open to Alexandria because he walked in and he was so fucked up and emotionally distraught he didn't realize he didn't close it correctly. So yeah, that's fucking stupid. First we find out, previous, I think it was, last half of the season, that, he was such a coward that he locked himself in his church while everybody that was basically seeking help, was just left out to die because of him. He locked them all out because he was too afraid to open the door. And now he's gonna, it's funny because before he caused people's deaths by closing a door, this time he was gonna cause people's deaths by opening a door or leaving it open. Anyway, point is, he was gonna get more people killed because of his cowardice and stupidity. So I really don't like the guy, and I was really, really hoping to see Sasha blow his brains out. Just because he seems like a liability to the group. But, I guess that would be cold-hearted in a way. I don't know. I just sort of have mixed feelings about it because I feel like he should be punished for causing so many innocent, deaths, innocent people to die. But at the same time, he's just a coward, but he could be a liability. So I don't know. Someone like him, I think I would have the most difficult choice in deciding whether or not to kill him or do what with him. That might be hard because he's not, he's well-meaning, I guess, but he's just a coward and he's weak. So, yeah. Honestly, though, if I lived in this world, I might kill him. Just because I think, if I didn't, he might cause his death later. But, I'd give him a chance and see how it went. But yeah. If I felt that he was causing enough anguish to himself and suffering, enough, well, I guess it wouldn't be enough since he caused so many deaths, but I'm just saying, something like that, or he was just a coward and weak like Eugene, I'd probably give them another chance if I saw that, they could change their ways and be different and be better and not be a liability to the group. But if they were, then they'd probably be killed. Or maybe them are the type of guys that I would actually just kick out, not kill them, but, take them out somewhere in the middle of nowhere and leave them with some supplies or something, because I don't think they'd probably come back for revenge. But at the same time, I think maybe it'd be too cold-hearted to just kill them. So, yeah. But anyway, my point is, they didn't really do anything about Gabriel, and I thought he at least deserved a good beating or something. Maybe they'll beat on him, in the next episode, since, it was found out that he's the one that left the fucking door open. But anyway, so that was a little stupid, but whatever. He's a crybaby. And then one of my biggest problems, probably my biggest problem with the season finale, besides the fact that, like I said, I expected more, was Nicholas. This is exactly the type of shit I'm talking about. Glenn taking mercy on him It's ridiculous. So fucking ridiculous. I hate that fucking guy and his fucking stupid face. I mean, Glenn should have fed him to the walkers back when he got Noah killed. I mean, did you see how bad Noah got killed? He got ripped into pieces. Did he deserve that? Okay, he had written in his little notebook that this was only the beginning. Alright, how sad was that? I mean, Glenn should have fed him to the walkers. That's what I would have done. I mean, and then, I mean, they admitted that they got people killed before, and now he got one of your close friends killed? What the fuck are you doing? I would have fed him to the fucking walkers. Oh, I would have got so much pleasure out of that. I hate the people that say, oh yeah, you know, I killed him, but then I just feel the same, or it didn't solve anything, you know, killing this person or whatever. That's fucking bullshit. I would feel so fucking good, and I think most people would. Alright, that's nice. It's a good feeling, alright? It's the closing of a book. It's the closing of a chapter. Alright, it's great, and it's justice. So yeah, I would have fed that fucking asshole to the walkers, and I would have stood there and watched him get eaten. Alright, that would have been great to see. And that's what he deserved. Alright? And let's say I didn't do that. Let's say, you know, that didn't happen, which it didn't. Alright, after that whole shit in the woods, really? You're out in the woods, nobody would ever know. You could just kill him so easily. I mean, he left you to die. Fucking 4 or 5 walkers on Glenn. I don't even know how the fuck he got out of that. I guess some of his Asian kung fu or something. No, that's racist, but but yeah, I don't know. That was ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how he escaped that. But anyway, Glenn should have blown his brains out right there. I mean, he should have fed him to the walkers before. So if he didn't do that, he should have blown his brains out. I mean, what the fuck? And he's still alive. Why? Fucking stupid. Anyway, I mean, I was even reading an interview with, you know, Steve Yeun, I think that's how you pronounce his name, you know, the actor that plays Glenn, and he was saying, you know, that Glenn's a lot nicer than him, you know, which I think pretty much means that, you know, he feels that he would have killed Nicholas as well, which, yeah, Nicholas should have died. Anyway, so that was probably my biggest problem with the season finale, but, you know, overall, like I said, you know, it ends with Rick showing up, and, you know, of course, Pete, once again, how can I not mention this? Another mercy killing, you know, which caused him a problem later, like it always does. They didn't kill Pete when Rick said they should. So what happens? He comes around with Michonne's katana, like a wild fucking idiot, and slices the throat of Reg, I think his name is, Deanna's husband, the guy that, you know, the architect, the guy that built the walls. And that's it. He killed him. And wow, really? So for the sake of a fucking, like, piece of shit, like Pete, this intelligent, nice man, this architect, got his throat slit? Does that make any sense to you? No. You know, someone like Pete should have got killed, been put down a long time ago. But I guess that's what they needed to see. You know, that's what Deanna needed to see. That's what the rest of the Alexandrians needed to see. You know, in order to finally realize that, yeah, hey, Rick has some fucking sense here. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. You know? I mean, he didn't just fucking survive out there by being nice to everybody and, you know, giving mercy to everybody that tried to kill him. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, so sadly, you know, sort of like the line Rick says, how many of you people do I have to kill, you know, to basically prove to them that he's correct? Well, sadly, you know, only one person, I guess, had to die, you know, in front of their stupid eyes. But yeah, so that was it. And then she gives, you know, Rick the, you know, the okay to kill Pete, which I'm sure he would have anyway, because, you know, fuck her, you know, Rick needs to take over already, and I guess he officially does once he pulls the trigger and blows that fucker Pete's brains out. But then, right at that moment, Morgan shows up and he's like, the fuck? This isn't the Rick I remember. And the episode ends. So, yeah, I mean, that ending was interesting. And then there's a post-credit scene with Michonne contemplating putting up her katana, and she decides to, you know, instead of putting it up, keeping it on, I guess still, you know, being the warrior. She chooses to still continue being the warrior that she always had been. So, yeah, I mean, and then like I said, there's the scene at the end, which, let me go to it right now so I could see exactly what it says on the car. Let's see. It says, yeah, wolves, not far. That's what it is. Wolves. So I guess it's wolves, not wolves. Anyway, I don't even know if wolves is a word, but anyway. So yeah, on the car they wrote wolves not far, which I assume it's those two guys, those two scumbags, the wolves that are putting W's on all the zombies or walkers, geeks, whatever you want to call them, on their forehead because they have some weird, I don't know, it was some bullshit about Native Americans or something, some weird ideas. I know they're clearly twisted and psychotic, but anyway. So yeah, it says wolves not far, which is what Noah saw in his neighborhood when he found out that his family had been killed. So these assholes killed them too. And Morgan just left them alive in a car for some reason. But anyway, so yeah, so overall, you know, that was a season 5 finale. You know, like I said, you know, decent, you know, should have been, could have been, and should have been much, much better, I thought. I mean, like I said, it was good, but, you know, this half of the season had been so incredible with Alexandria. I just think the ending, you know, deserved better. It should have been way better, but whatever. You know, it at least wasn't as bad as the season 3 finale, where they basically just said, wow, you know, the governor attacked us, you know, let's go home. I don't know, that was so stupid. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, the season finale was alright. So yeah, I guess I'll give it my rating. You know, I usually rate things from a 0 to a 10. You know, with obviously 0 being horrible, terrible, and 10 being legendary. And I would say a 6 is average. I would consider 6 average. So as far as what I would give this season finale of Walking Dead, I'd probably give it a 7. Yeah, so that's my final rating for this. 7 out of 10, above average. And yeah, that's it. So overall, you know, some good moments here and there, but mostly I'll just remember, you know, the rest of the second half, and hopefully they come back strong. But yeah, so that's it. So, like I said, you know, check out my other channel, All Games Must Die. I'll put a link here, and check it out. I have a lot of different gaming videos on there with commentary, without commentary, and I'll be doing more reviews on different types of things, all the different shows, movies, games. Like I said, talking about different opinions I have about all types of crazy shit, or just whatever. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe so you could hear more of that shit. And that's it for this. So see you later.